Instagram, and welcome to today's episode of the Trish Lynn Show. Today we are talking about ADHD and how it affects women, and this is going to be an awesome conversation because I love these shows and topics when we get to, there we go, dive into things that aren't really
Hello.
Hello. Okay. My phone updated last night and I'm sitting here and it's changed so many things. It's kind of fun because I'm like, oh, this is new. Oh, this is new. Even my notifications popping up are different. So
Um,
always fun.
yeah,
But this is the fastest we've ever had anyone able to join the show. So welcome to the Trish Lynn Show. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm really excited to have this conversation because I feel like there's just so many pieces still that are not talked about in a wide enough way where people feel seen and heard and understood. So I'm hoping that the audience can really take something away from this. And if you are a female who has ADHD, or there's some things I want to go into about, maybe you do or you have some tendencies, that you're not alone. So welcome to the show. Please let everyone know who you are and what you do.
awesome. I'm Sue Day. I am I have a feedback. You can't hear that on my end? Okay,
Nope. Nope.
great. All right. So I'm Sue. I'm a ADHD coach. My company is pathwaysforwardcoaching.com. And I was not diagnosed late, but I'm one of the few women who was. Sorry, the feedback is going to be a little bit distracting, but hopefully it will get itself together pretty soon.
Not any feedback. There's a bit of a muffle, but there's no feedback on this end.
All right, well, I'm glad you can't hear it. Yeah, so I went into ADHD coaching as I think it's my fifth career, which is pretty common for ADHDers, having multiple careers in the course of their lifetime. And I burned out hard on my last on my last career, which was I was director of finance for nonprofit. It was a really hard job, lots of things to do. Really thrived in it for a long time, and I burned out hard because I didn't take care of myself, and because my ADHD made that even worse. And I got an ADHD coach, and she changed my life. I mean, I was like, holy crap, I could have a different life. I don't have to feel like this all the time. And so it was so powerful to me that I became a coach myself. So here I am. I've been a coach for about 2 years now, about a year and a half maybe. I actually have a book coming out really soon, which is really exciting, called your ADHD Brilliance, Your Journey into Your ADHD Mind. And I am really passionate about the positive aspects of ADHD and how we can find those positivities even amongst the sea of negative stuff that's happening to us, around us, because of our ADHD. So that's what we're doing today.
I love that. It's so sad that there's so many negatives in life, no matter what it's around and what it's surrounding. And we have to look for the positive every step of the way and the benefits of, this is who I am and it gets to be good. And I find it really disheartening that we have to do that, but we're here to spread that light and we get to have this conversation. For those of you who are joining in, say hi, let us know that you are here, give us some hearts. It does help boost the episode is with the algorithm that everyone has a love-hate relationship with right now. I would love to dive into what are some, I don't want to say symptoms, but like signs of ADHD, because yeah, dive in. I have a little box in my head that I'm checking off as we go. I had someone, we were kind of in a conversation going back and forth, and like, do you have ADHD? I'm like, no.
Interesting. Yeah, well, many women, as I said earlier, I was diagnosed early in life. I was diagnosed in 1988, where a woman just didn't get diagnosed. But most women get diagnosed later in life for a lot of reasons, and we can go into that later. So symptoms, challenges, traits, maybe traits. We'll call it traits today.
Yeah.
Of ADHD, we can be rather distracted. I it is difficult sometimes to hold our attention. We lose track of conversations. Let's see. So many. It's such a varied disease. It's not a disease. Sorry. It is such a varied difference that is it's really almost hard to encapsulate. But we tend to have a hard time in multiple areas of life with particular symptoms. Forgetfulness, we have terrible short-term memory, working memory. We have a challenge working, this is something a lot of people don't know, emotional regulation is really challenging for us. So we can be really highly intensely emotional. We are very excitable, sometimes very hyperactive in a lot of ways, but sometimes we're not. Sometimes all that hyperactivity is inside our head.
Yeah.
And they just go on and on. One of the sort of overarching areas of ADHD that really challenges people is they don't really understand that their focus is linked to their attention. So we actually don't have a shortage of attention. This is not an attention deficit situation. We have attention on everything. We have no filters. We don't have anything. Like, I'm looking around my office right now. I've seen my office 80 million times. I still can't stop paying attention to everything that's around me. And when we're focused, when we do find our focus, it can be super hyper focused.
Yeah.
And so we dive deep in. We found an interest, right? Because our focus is based on interest. So we find an interest, and then we just do this deep dive and come out sometime later with some understanding what that was. But we can't be interrupted in that time. It's just like that's all there is. Completely obsessed by it. That happened to me this week. There's like 36 hours time spent learning how to format a book in InDesign. I think that's sort of a basic rundown of the situation.
I think it's, I love that you said the hyper focus, because so many people view that as a negative thing when in reality it's such a positive piece. Like, you want to learn how to do this and you want to learn it now, and you're not going to stop until you figure it out. I find that so powerful. And it's not a negative piece at all. I have squirrel brain, like 100%. And like you're saying, focus. We're having this conversation. I can hear my son in the kitchen making like every little noise, every little thing I hear. And that's just something that I've gotten used to. And I never really paid attention to, oh, maybe other people aren't like
Yeah.
this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people can't. And I actually think can be a real positive too, and is some of the reasons why we're so successful in certain areas of life, right? So we pay attention to everything. Nothing slips our attention, right? That means, like, in a business setting, we see inefficiencies where other people don't. Like, oh wait, why are they doing that when this is happening over here? When other people only see that and that as separate things, right? So it can be all of our traits can be both challenges and strengths. The hyper focus can be a super strength, can be amazing. It can, if you let it get in the way of things, it can almost feel like an addiction, right? You can't pay attention to other responsibilities. However, if you find ways to sort of mitigate that and tools to bring you in and out of hyper focus, then you can pay attention to other things.
Well,
So,
it's finding that balance too, right? Being able to find that balance of, yes, I know this is what I want to figure out and I'm not stopping until I do, but we still have to find that balance because it can lead to burnout.
Right. Yeah, it totally can. Yeah, we want to do everything, right? We're excited about everything. Anything that's new and shiny, we're excited about. Add to that, we have the average kid with ADHD hears 20,000 negative things about themselves by the time they're 10. It's because it's such a paradoxical talent trait. I mean, we're good here, we're terrible here, we're good at the hard stuff, we're bad at the easy stuff. Like, and it just looks like we're lazy, or we can't stop interrupting, and because we're excited about something and we're spontaneous, and so we hear all this terrible negative stuff about it. You're lazy, you're obstructive, and we want to do things our own way, so we don't necessarily always listen to direction very well. So our self-esteem is just battered by the time we're grown up, and it's just, we put that all on ourselves, and that makes us want to be. And this is sort of a generalization, but it's true for a lot of us. Makes us want to be everything to everybody. We have something to prove. We need to tell people, no, we're not bad. No, we're not lazy. No, we're not. And then as adults, we start overperforming in ways that our brains just can't. Yeah, it's really challenging.
Yeah, I have a client who has ADHD, and for me, it was learning how to really navigate some of the things that I say to her and how I say them to her in a way that she's receptive to.
Yeah.
And it wasn't much, but I recognized, just in conversation, I'm like, okay, what I'm seeing isn't getting through. How can I say this differently so that it does get through? And last week was amazing because we just had so many moments that I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is the next level piece that we were going for. And what I said, like for me, it was an accomplishment because I'm like, yes, what I said finally clicked and it hit a button. But we all learn differently. We all take things in differently. And it's being able to navigate those pieces. There's no one is good, bad, right, or wrong in how they do things. It's we all do things differently. We all perceive things differently. And I hate that there's still so many women out there thinking that they're not good enough, or they're not right in how they do things, or not confident in showing up for life because they've been told so many things along the way. Like you said, you're not good at things that should be easy. Well, if you're good at the things that are hard, maybe the things that are easy are just too simple for your mind, and you need that more complex piece to actually put your brain to work.
Yeah. And the stat of 20,000 negative things by 10 years old, that's based on studies on boys. Imagine what it is probably for girls,
Yeah.
because we have this whole other side of we can't do anything right. That is just part of society, right? And so yeah, women with ADHD, I think for one, we're very good at masking it because we're taught to please at a very early age, and we're very good at masking and doing things the way people want. They want, making people feel good about how we are in our world. So there's another reason sort of why we just take on so much, and women especially take on even more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you support your clients through these pieces? What are some of the steps that you take with them?
Well, so it's a really lovely process, and putting the ADHD coaching itself is a lovely process, and putting the ADHD lens on it just brings it even more into sort of a place of positivity and wonder, I guess is a good word. I work with my clients on what they want to work on, right? But because of the nature of ADHD and coaching in general, advising is not, it doesn't work because we don't want to follow the rules. We don't want to be told what to do. So what I help people do is work through their challenge from a place of what do you want? What do you really want? What is there a should in here that you're being challenged by? Because once we know what we want, we're practically unstoppable. Once we're working on what we want, we're practically unstoppable. And it's hard for women because we're taught not to
Yeah.
pay attention to what we want. We're taught to do what other people want. And so with women especially, the process is really, let's talk about what you really want. And let's talk about how that affects how you move through your world. And how can we create a world for you? How can you create your world? Because it really comes from within. How can you create your world to make it so that you are able to, for when the stuff is hard, that's hard, you get to either have somebody else do it or you have an easy setup for it, and that you're really able to focus on what you want, what you're strong in, what your strengths are, and move forward that way.
I love that. I think women in general need more of that because we are taught to put everyone else before us. You know, especially when you become a mom and a wife, everyone else's needs come before your own, and we put ourselves on the back burner. And a lot of the work that I do, it for me, it's about teaching my clients and supporting my clients and becoming more selfish. And
Right?
it sounds so bad, but we have to start putting ourselves first and listening to our wants and listening to what we need instead of constantly putting everyone else before us. Yes, my kids are always going to come first, but if they're not in a position where they're going to get hurt or they desperately need me and you know what I mean, I will take that step back and like, mom needs 5 minutes because I need 5 minutes. Like, we have to look at where we are at all of the time, ADHD or not. We don't.
Right.
I catch myself so many times and I'm like, holy shit, I'm tired right now. I need to pause. Instead of constantly thinking, okay, I got to keep going and going and going. I'm like, no. And it's giving ourselves that permission to be ourselves, to listen to what it is we need right now in this moment and allowing it to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. One of the most powerful tools in my, I give a lot of homework. I love homework. I love worksheets. One of the most powerful parts is this needs assessment. Um, that is just 4 pages of listed needs and like, what do you need? Really, what do you need? And you sort of figure it out. You do a quiz, figure it out, and then you have to deal with it, right? Then you have to like, oh, these are my needs. How do I meet those?
Yeah.
And that's the really hard part, right? So just admitting that we have needs is so uncomfortable. And then figuring out how to move forward with them is 10 times more uncomfortable. I still have a hard time with it. A year and a half into working through this stuff, really personally, it's so uncomfortable to me that I have one of my needs is luxury. I I was taught not to need comfortable things. I was taught not to want really things. And and it's just such a hard need for me to accept for myself.
Yeah.
Just saying it out loud, like alive, is like, holy crap, did I just say
Yeah.
that? But that's part of the work, right? That's part of
Yeah.
like learning how to accept who we are and what we really want.
Yeah. It's part of, yeah, just getting comfortable in the uncomfortable. I shared this the other day. You know, I have such a hard time. I'm running a money mindset program right now. We're in the launch process, and I'm like, I live in $1 million home, and I have a really hard time sharing about that. So I'm like, I'm going to share about it because the more I share about it, the more it becomes comfortable in actually saying it. And it still feels uncomfortable to actually come out of my mouth, but we've got to normalize this is our reality. This is what we want. And, you know, I love the luxury piece. And for luxury for each and every one of us looks different. But I heard this quote and it is sticking with me for the last couple weeks. And every time I'm kind of feeling like unsure, luxury demands success.
Hmm. Interesting.
And
That is
it just,
hard to, it's like almost hard to like swallow just because those are so, so, it's just in my world, it's just such a negative thing. Like wanting things, wanting to be successful, wanting to grow. Sometimes as people look at you like, why do you want this?
yeah,
Well, because I love it. It's exciting.
yeah.
Um, and the luxury part is the reward at the end that is just cozy and soft, and we got a hot tub. That was my big luxury expense of the past couple of years. We got a hot tub, and I'm just so happy to be able to go out and have a cocktail, soak in the hot tub, be in the bar there. So it's
I love that for you. That is your success.
yeah.
The luxury thing that you wanted, you created the success to get that. And I love that for you. And that's the piece that we really need to start normalizing for all of us, because it's I find it such a powerful quote to keep in the back of my mind. And every time I'm feeling in those moments and I'm like, luxury demands success, it almost forces me to rise up and to level up my thinking and all of the things to come into that version of myself that is the luxury creating the success.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and normalizing it, because it's so foreign for us as women to have these things and want these things and be allowed to want and have these things, right? So it's creating a world where we get to normalize it, and that's what I am aiming to do every single day, with the audience that I reach, is look at what I've created, and if I can do it, you can do it.
Absolutely. And a lot of people think of success as holding other people down, but we don't need to hold other people down. We're sharing. We share it. We help bring people up and enjoy it with us. I think that's a really important aspect of when I think of success and I think of going for it and getting it. Sometimes I get like, oh, but am I leaving somebody behind? So I'm helping people up with me. I'm bringing people up with me. And that is what's really important and powerful about it.
Yeah, and I think when you have someone who understands how an ADHD mind works, helping you move through the pieces, it creates so much more power, and we're creating such a ripple effect.
Yeah, yeah. It really is amazing to see the the lights go off, the light bulbs pop when people start understanding and really feeling, oh, I am enough the way I am. I'm not broken. I just need to learn and accept who I am and how I thrive. And just the way people move forward with that knowledge and that understanding is so powerful. I just love it's so amazing to see.
It's so fulfilling. I love, as you're saying this, I can bring it back to the work that I do, and it's the exact same thing. And it is so fulfilling, and it lights my soul on fire watching these women walk away with the power, seeing that power within themselves, seeing that light come on within themselves of, I have the permission to do this my way.
Mm-hmm.
It's so empowering. I love it.
It is. It's really amazing. Yeah. I'm so glad you're a partner in this work where we get to lift these amazing people up. And we're not lifting them up, we're giving them the space to lift themselves up, which is even more powerful.
Yeah. I've absolutely loved this conversation. Is there anything you would like to share with the audience before we sign off?
Yeah, I think there's just a few things about ADHD that I wanted to. I think it gets um, lightened a lot in all these short, like TikToks and all these short snippets of information. ADHD gets lightened a lot, and though I believe in my heart and soul, it is a strength. It is. There's research out there that's an evolutionary adaptation that is an evolutionary strength for people in different societies a long time ago, right? Where if the food or if there was a drought in one place, and it's the ADHDers who were like, oh, but we don't have to stay here. We could move over here. So it's a huge strength. And I think even in our society today, we need these our ADHDers who are the creative thinkers, the iterators, the ones who are like, we don't got to do it this way. We can do it that way. And so I just think that with that strength and in today's society where we are so held down and insulted and taught terribly of, it's so dangerous. It's a dangerous trait to have. It causes anxiety, depression. It can take 26 years off of a person's average lifespan. 26 years. That's worse than smoking or most other addictive behavior. I mean, it can be really, so if you have ADHD, learn to love yourself, learn to love your brain. It's so important. There's so much strength there. So it's just, it hurts me so much to know that the people with ADHD face so many challenges with relationships, with anxiety and depression and addictions and all the stuff that's caused by our society not working with our brains in a way that is healthy for us. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that because that's a great way to close out the episode. And you do have the book coming out. So for anyone who is resonating with this episode, if you are someone who is resonating with the signs of ADHD or you do have ADHD, a diagnosis, give Sue a follow. I am going to drop your wow, I just had a loss for words with all of that. Drop your handle in the caption so that everyone can find you and come over and check out when your book is launching and take a peek at that and support you that way. And if they are interested in working with you, they'll just be able to find you all over the place.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, I look forward to talking with you again, I hope, and it's been lovely. And thank you so much. And if you follow me, then you will hear more about the book than you ever wanted in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, because I am over the moon excited about it.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'll be sharing, once I see you start posting about it, we'll be sharing about it here as well. So everyone stay tuned for that. And thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.